if you can avoid that, then why wouldn't you?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge, beautiful, big topic, and it's a big one. It actually really is one that's kind of coming up as one of the next big topics, I think, in society, really understanding. And I think it's so helpful to understand others, because the more we understand, the less we are judgmental, the less we want to stop them from being different, you know. And I think trying to stop somebody from being different is the essence of war, basically.
Exactly.
You know, and partly one side, the other side is protecting yourself from somebody trying to change you.
Totally.
So, you know, if we can get to the guts of that, and that starts with our everyday interactions with one another. It's number one. You're with Annalia Tia on the Pregnancy, Birth and Beyond, and with Gopi Lev, our very latest addition to our team. She's our expert and advisor on all matters gender, diversity, and we'll be hearing more from her, and specifically about a glossary of terms in the next segment, so you can understand a little bit more about what this all means.
יש רמז שבא לקראתי אני קשוב באמת הניגון מנגן אותי בכל נוף יש רמז שבא לקראתי אני קשוב באמת הניגון מנגן אותי.
So I thought that the next thing that I would do is kind of take us through a glossary of terms around gender diversity. And this is a very, very small list. There are so many different words and terms for different facets of gender identity, and I really want to clarify that, because this is just going to be kind of going just through the main ones and the ones that are used the most often, and then from there anyone who's listening can continue their own research. And okay, so the first one that I think is really important to go through is cisgender, spelled CIS gender. And that is a very simple term that just means your gender identity aligns with the gender that you were assigned at birth. You know, so it basically just means that if you feel yourself to be a woman and you have a vagina, if you feel yourself to be a man and you have a penis, you are cisgender. That is the majority, and the majority of the world right now seems to be cisgender and heterosexual. So those are just two good things to know. Then there is transgender, that has been widely discussed, and like societal clarity around that has been increasingly raised lately, which has been awesome. But it also is worth noting that transgender women of color in America are at a 75% risk for murder. So there is a lot of violence that is still being faced by the transgender community, and a lot that we can do as cisgender people to show up for them in real and organic ways that matter as allies. So transgender basically just means that your gender identity doesn't align with the one that you were assigned at birth, and it's often used to describe somebody whose journey is a little bit more straightforward. So if you're a trans man, you were assigned female at birth, and then through growing up understood that you're not in fact female, you're not in fact a woman, and you transition. And transitioning means different people to different things to different people. I mean, for some people it just means, you know, maybe cutting your hair short or growing your hair out or changing the way you dress, changing your name, and then they stop there and that's comfortable. Other people opt to go for surgery and hormones. HRT, which stands for hormone replacement therapy, is a procedure commonly undergone by trans people. So for trans women it would mean maybe getting a boob job and sometimes facial reconstruction surgery and starting HRT. And then for trans men it could mean getting top surgery, which is the surgery of a double mastectomy, and starting testosterone. Testosterone can be taken in a range of different ways, from a gel to sometimes pills, sometimes an injection. It really varies from person to person, from experience to experience. Then the slightly less commonly known term is non-binary, which basically means anything that's outside of the binary. And some people identify as non-binary transgender, which
Can you explain what binary means?
Oh, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Before, we went through a little bit about the gender binary before, but it basically just, the way that we operate right now in the world is that we do have a gender binary in place where there are only, the common understanding that there are only two genders, and that women behave a certain way and men behave another way, and they interact in specific ways, and it's all kind of a set script. And now...
Legally as well, isn't it?
Yeah, legally as well. And it's slowly...
And for schools.
Yeah, in schools, in the, reproductive health discussions, in so many different, even in alternative spaces, sometimes it can be incredibly, shockingly not inclusive enough towards those who may fall in different places. If you don't know,
I think, you need to know. And it's pretty much the end of the story. If you don't know, if you're not doing it, then you need to be doing it and make yourself aware of it. And you only can be aware of it once you become aware of it.
Exactly. And I think that from somebody sitting in a place of privilege, it is actually your responsibility to educate yourself. It is your responsibility to go above and beyond what is expected and expand your mind and expand your habits and your behaviors on a day-to-day level in order to make your life a more inclusive one, and in order to make your habits more
outside of your
inclusive.
Parameters, your known parameters.
Totally. And that's kind of one of the issues with having privilege, is that there are entire worlds that are unseen to you, and although you may never get to actively exist in those worlds, it is really important that you make yourself aware of them, of their existence, of their needs, and in that way uplift and prioritize stories that sometimes don't get a chance to be told, and with that comes learning your way around using different language. A non-binary, as I said, is just anybody who identifies as either outside of the binary or falls somewhere not aligned with what they were assigned at birth. My partner is non-binary, and they were assigned female at birth and were socialized as a quote-unquote woman/girl. And then throughout their own journey of self-discovery realized that they're not, in fact, a woman, and they didn't want to transition, they don't want to become a man, but their place on the spectrum rest most authentically on a place that gravitates towards having a slightly more kind of masculine presentation, but still having a female body. I say that again, quote-unquote female body, because what is a female body? Like, is a female body one with a vagina? Like, what about trans women? Like, they have female bodies, but they might not have a vagina. It's complex, and it goes on and on. Again, now, instead of saying things, this is, I think, a really important thing, because people say this sometimes, where they'll say, like, oh, he was born a girl, but now he transitioned. Instead of saying that, maybe say assigned female at birth, or assigned male at birth, and short for that would be AMAB and AFAB, which are just slightly more neutral terms that don't carry as much connotation as saying, like, oh, she was born a man. Like, she wasn't born a man. She was always born a woman. She just took the long way around to get there, and it's not as alienating to say that. The last word that I want to go through is queer. Queer, again, is kind of an umbrella term for the entire community. The LGBTQIA plus community oftentimes just refer to themselves as queer. I refer to myself as queer. I'm not comfortable identifying as a lesbian because my partner doesn't identify as a woman, and my partner doesn't identify as a lesbian either, because a lesbian is a woman who loves other women. So it's it's nuanced, as I said, and it's an ongoing discussion. But yes, so when you hear someone refer to themselves as queer, it basically just either means not straight or not cisgendered. I hope that was informative. Let me know if you have any questions.
That was awesome. And actually, don't feel like you have to remember or understand everything, if you've never heard about this before or it's new to you, then don't feel like you have to grasp all of it in one go. It's an ongoing thing, and in fact, the best way to incorporate new information into your life is slowly and over a period of time, and with actual experience. So yes, definitely go out there and learn a little bit more, and then we'll have heaps of links for you.
Stay tuned.
In the next segment.
I'm going to have a lot more resources for different books and YouTube channels and articles. This information is readily available for anyone who wants to look, and it is an amazing world, and it is such a beautiful process actually to kind of alleviate some of the limitations that have been societally imposed on us. That's the thing, is that we didn't even choose to be born into society that's so rigid, but here we are, and it is our job as individuals and change makers within our own corner of the world to raise love and awareness and acceptance and encouragement for people to be who they really are. And I'm very happy to be born in this time, in this place.
Yeah, we are quite lucky, and I think especially being here in Australia, like you said, there's a lot of privilege. I mean, in many ways means that you don't really understand how privileged you are, and that's why, you know, there's a lack of understanding. And that's in that context that the word privilege is used within that scope of understanding. So, but yeah, we'll be talking a lot more about this in the coming future, in the coming months and years, and
we'll be producing a lot more content around these topics as well. So I already have a little bit up, and I'll be creating more, both for my own platforms and also in conjunction with Pregnancy, Birth and Beyond's media. So I think that there is something so special and empowering about making yourself aware of your privilege, and sometimes that can come with guilt and confusion, but once you put those things away and you really become cognizant of the work that needs to be done, it's nothing but encouraging actually to continually be learning about how you can better show up in the world and grow to be a better and kinder force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more you do that, in essence, you're being grateful for what is around you. You're being acknowledging for what is around you, and that is pretty much the number one way to get happy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if you are upset about something, perhaps just what's required is a little bit more understanding.
Flowers, 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 flowers. I see those flowers. They're in my head.
For links and resources and info about our speaker today, head to our website, pbbmedia.org. We hope you've enjoyed this week's Pregnancy, Birth and Beyond show, which was produced with the support of the Community Broadcasting Foundation. Tune in next week for more information and inspiration, bringing us full circle. You can find our show on iTunes, Spreaker, the usual social media under Pregnancy, Birth and Beyond, and at our website, pbbmedia.org. Thanks for tuning in.
יש בי אהבה בלי די, ימים כלילות רק רוצה להיות, והמתנה מתנה מותנית באהבה, נשמה חשוכה.